Hey, it's Tori, and welcome back to my channel. Today we welcome Patty from If Not For Me to the channel. How are you doing today?
Very good, thank you. It's good to be here.
It's awesome to be able to chat with you. And, of course, my husband and I came to see you in Raleigh in that tiny little record
Yeah.
store. And, you guys put on such a phenomenal show, even just to 30 to 50 people?
Yeah, something like that. That
Yeah,
place was
it was.
honestly really cool. I,
It was awesome. I've never been to a show like that before that was that intimate, so it was just really
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for record stores and like that was I don't even I don't know if I've ever played like a floor show like that with If Not For Me. Like we pretty much always have like a big stage and like all that
Hmm.
kind of stuff. So it was kind of cool to just have everybody, like right up against us.
Yeah.
And it was funny because like I was watching the bands before us, and I was like, and there was like all the space on the floor and stuff like that, and I was like, yeah, when we go up there, I'm getting these people like right up in our faces. Like this is gonna be intimate as hell. It's gonna be a good time.
Yeah. No, I'm glad you did that. It for I'm sure for the bands and for the audience, because there is no barrier. It's like where do we go, like what's within the band's comfort, and you were like, nope, come on,
Right.
just come right up, be right
Yeah.
there. And like you were like literally singing in people's faces. I was like literally from here to my microphone to Hayden, and it was crazy, it was amazing.
Yeah. That was honestly a really fun show.
It was, and it was awesome meeting you guys. You guys are so humble and down to earth. And of course, you
Yeah.
just released your brand new album, Everything You Wanted. It came out on 29th of March via Thriller Records. How have you found that response from your fan base?
Really, really good so far. We're honestly, it's kind of surreal because like I don't even like the first night that we dropped the album, like on the 29th, we played. Where did we play? We played in New Jersey, and there's like already people singing all the words to these songs that just came out, like a few hours
Hmm.
ago. And it's just like I don't know. It was so cool to see the response, and like obviously we knew people liked the singles because the singles had been coming out. And we've been seeing the response for that, but like to see that people were excited enough to really dive into the album and learn, like the deeper cuts before seeing us was like that was just so cool. And I don't know, we're really blessed, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know how people do that. I'm so bad with learning lyrics. Like I really
Really?
try. Yeah, I like my mind is I literally have to listen to a song over and over and over and over. I mean, most people do anyway, but it just for some reason like the rhythm and the melody gets in there, but and like I'll know, of course, choruses are pretty easy to pick up on because they
Yeah.
come around a couple of times, but it's just the verses. I'm like, I need to get better at this somehow, because it that also impresses me, like when I go to a show and there's somebody next to me and they know every single line and every single word, and it's so impressive. And it's got to be such an amazing feeling for you guys up on stage seeing that, and seeing that on day of release.
Yeah, it's so cool. And it's like one of those things that, when I was a teenager trying to get into music, and I never really expected somebody to like care about something I was doing that much, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's just really cool to have that kind of impact on somebody, that they care enough to like want to learn the words and yell them back at me and like all that kind of stuff. It's surreal. Like I already said it once, but like that's like the best way I can
Yeah.
describe it. It's really cool.
So could you tell us in your own words what the album is about?
Yeah. This record, I wrote most of it kind of from like a place of like, it sounds cheesy to say it this way, but like grief and like hindsight of basically the last, I don't know, 3 4 years of my life. And I was in a couple of relationships that were very toxic, and a lot of it
Mm-hmm.
was my fault, a lot of it was their fault. And it is basically just kind of my journey to like figure out, who I really am, who I want to be, who I don't want to be, and just kind of figure out what I want in life. And that's kind of where the title comes from. Everything You Wanted. It's kind of like the pursuit of trying to actually find myself. And it's also got like a bit of like a sarcastic jab to it, like I hope you got everything you wanted kind of attitude, which I really like.
Hmm.
But yeah, a lot of it is basically just, my mistakes of, screwing things up and then being screwed over by other people. Like, so a lot of the album is like very, very, personal stuff to me. It's like stuff that I went through. Um, and yeah, it was a lot writing it because like I didn't really know when we started writing it, like where the album was going to go, but I was just going through a lot at the time. And pretty much everything that I was writing about was just it just ended up being stuff that I was struggling with at the time. And yeah, that's basically it. Luckily, I'm in a much better place now than when I wrote that album. But yeah, like I just wanted somebody to be able to relate to things that I was dealing with, and like my issues and things that were happening to me and stuff like that. And it's like if I could, you know, put that kind of stuff out there and somebody could get a positive spin on it, like that's kind of what I wanted in writing the album. And that's why I like to talk about things that are personal to me because like if I can turn something bad into something good, that's what I want to do every time.
Yeah, and I think that's the best way to go about it as well, is just to, because everybody goes through the same things as somebody else, and you, most of the time you feel like you're alone, yet when you hear music like this and you hear lyrics like this that come from the deepest part of your soul, and you're pouring that out into the world, it's like, oh, wait a minute, this person has also been through this, and it's okay to be feeling this way. And I think it's brilliant. I love when people like yourselves are, I'm going to say, clever enough to come up with these lyrics and put that down in music form and then connect that way to the audience, even though, it hurts you, but it's also very cathartic as well in a way, and healing.
Yeah, and that stuff's been really cool to see. Like we have so many people like hit me up and they'll be like, "Yo, like this line in I don't know, Blameless was like, that's exactly what I needed to hear at the time." It's like
Hmm.
cuz, I was dealing with a manipulative relationship with my partner and like all this kind of stuff and like hearing somebody else talk about it really guided me through it. And like that to me is like that's like why I write these songs, if I can help somebody uh, by learning, from my mistakes and somebody else's mistakes and stuff like that. It's like that's just so cool to me. Like that's what I want to do for people.
Yeah, it also takes a certain level of maturity to admit your wrongdoings as well, and put that out into the world. So I applaud you for doing that too. What
Thank
does
you.
your what does your creative process look like for you when it comes to writing or composing these songs?
Yeah, a lot of the times we start with we'll usually start with like an instrumental. We worked with a lot of different producers on this record, which we were really excited about because we wanted as many different influences as we can from people that we respect in the
Hmm.
in the I can't speak in the industry. So we worked with John Eberhard, who plays in I Prevail, and he's like one of their longtime songwriters. We worked with Ricky Armelino from Ice Nine Kills. We worked with Kurt Martin, who did like all the Catch Your Breath stuff. And we also worked with Carson Slovak and Graham McFarland, who do like August Burns Red and like Era and like all these sick metalcore bands. Um, but a lot of the times we would go into the studio with those producers with pretty much like no ideas. Like we wanted to just kind of build things on the spot. And it would usually start with like a rough instrumental. And then we would just start, like humming as many, catchy melodies and stuff like that as we could think of. And a lot of the times we would end up just kind of like Frankensteining these melodies together. And then that's when I would come in with lyrics and try to like think about like, okay, what is this kind of vibe making me feel? And then that's
Hmm.
when I would put the words to it. Like I know a lot of vocalists probably do the opposite kind of thing where they'll like write lyrics out first, but like I'm not very good at that. Like I like to really sit with an instrumental and a melody and just like kind of dissect the mood of it.
Hmm.
Because that way I don't really paint myself into a corner with like, oh, I have this line, but I have to come up with like a catchy way to say it. which can be pretty difficult sometimes. Like I have mad respect for guys that can do that. But for me, it's always like melody first because like that's how I kind of sense the mood of things. But yeah, we worked with all those different guys, and I don't know. It probably took like a year to record it. We were, bouncing back and forth between all these producers, and I don't know. It came out really cool. We're
Yeah,
pretty stoked on it.
it really did. It's such a brilliant album from start to finish. There's not a song in there that I don't like. Sometimes with albums, there's maybe one or two that you're just like, it's okay. But for this one, it's like I don't want to skip over it, and I don't want to, I like the way you guys have laid it out, and like the flow of it. It's really, it fits really well together, and that's totally understandable how you write the melody first, because that makes sense to feel, what the song is going to be and how it's going to fit certain lyrics. So
That's
which
good to
song
hear.
yeah which song on the album do you think for you was the most challenging for you to write and then also perform, like if you do it in a live set?
Mm, man, that's tough. I'd probably say maybe "Feel Me Now."
Mm-hmm.
Because like I don't know, I have to hit some high notes on that one. Also, that one probably wasn't one of the most difficult ones to write. Like once like the melody started flowing for that one came out pretty easily. But live, it's definitely one of the hardest songs for me. And thank God we play it first because I wouldn't want to play that song at the end of our set.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's probably the one. I don't know. I don't want to be here is another one. Um, that I wouldn't say it's like super hard to play live, but like some of the top notes when we do the course, like full voice kind of thing, like
Mm-hmm.
those notes are pretty high. So like I gotta really push to hit those. But that song is so much fun to play live. And it's funny because when we were doing rehearsals for the tour, like the first night of tour was our hometown.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were like, we're just going to play the whole record, front to back. And we weren't going to do that for the rest of the tour because like, I was like, man, that's going to be a lot on me, like having to do that every single night. Um, and, but we weren't going to play I Don't Want to Be Here on the rest of the tour, but we had so much fun playing it in rehearsals and on that first night that I was kind of like, and the guys were pushing for it. And I was like, all right, like, do you want to play it? We'll play it. But yeah, that's another one that's a little tricky for me live. But it's also fun because I get to like show off a little bit. It's like really vibey and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
That's It's funny how those things work out that way. Like you do these songs and then you're like, oh, that's going to be really difficult live, and yet when you do rehearse it and you do play it live, you're like, wait a minute, I actually really enjoyed playing that, and now it's
Yeah,
become part of the set list.
yeah, and it's cool too because like we knew like obviously we've heard the album for like a year, like we
Right.
knew what it sounds like. So like we know what songs we want to play live, but once the album's finally out, we get to see what songs everybody else likes and kind of try to integrate that in a little bit. Because like we can pick a set list out all day, but like, is it what the fans want to hear?
Right.
So it's kind of cool to see the reaction to some of the songs. And like people asking for certain songs, and it's like, all right, let's try to get that one in. And I don't know, it's a cool process for sure.
Yeah. I think it's a good thing as well to listen, because obviously nobody would be here without the fan base, and you've got
Yeah,
to take into consideration what they like, and even if that's difficult for you, it's still like well, wait, this is going to be an insane moment with the crowd's participation, and that gives you that push and that surge of energy, because there's nothing like that crowd and that atmosphere and just those feelings. And I can't imagine being up on stage and just seeing people rock out to songs that I've written, and to be in your place. I bet it's amazing.
yeah, like 100% everything you just said is like right on the nail. Like it's so freaking cool to see how people react to some of these songs, and especially like if the crowd is super super energetic,
Hmm.
like those nights I feel like I like to feel like I perform you know, the best of my ability every night. But when the crowd is super energetic and you know they're feeling it and they're singing all the words and all that kind of stuff, it gets I don't I don't want to say it's like an ego boost, but like
No.
the confidence and like the amount of fun that we have playing sets like that is just like it makes it so much easier, and it makes me feel like that we're playing better. I don't know
Yeah.
if we actually are, but it feels like that.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing like it. Even in watching live performances on YouTube, you can tell when the band is having fun up on stage because of
Yeah,
that crowd.
yeah.
So, how did you guys go about deciding which singles to bring out from the album?
Yeah, that was a little tricky. Because I know you brought it up earlier that like you pretty much don't skip in any of the songs on the album, and that was one thing that was pretty important to us is like we didn't really want any filler tracks. Like
Mm-hmm.
even like I don't want to be here to me was like maybe going to be a filler track because it's like super EDM-y and like vibey and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. But it ended up really cool. And so we definitely feel like there's not really much filler on the album. So it was pretty hard to pick some of these songs. And I remember in particular, I think Blameless, like I had to fight for that one to be a single. Because originally it wasn't going to be. We had put out Demons first, and then it was Feel Me Now, and Feel Me Now is pretty soft. So I
Mm-hmm.
was pushing for something a little bit heavier after that song, because I wanted to, I don't know, give people variety, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And the song that we were going to put out after Feel Me Now was Tragedy, which is the one we just dropped with like the music video and stuff like that. But I kind of felt that it was a little bit too similar structurally to Demons, like with the whole, you know, like verse, chorus, verse, uh, like heavy second verse into the, you know, chorus and breakdown kind of thing. And
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I want to give them something that they haven't heard on this album cycle yet. And so I was really pushing for Blameless. And not to toot my own horn, but the other guys didn't really see it at first. So when we brought that song home from the studio, we did a lot more work to it to get it to like where it was. And um, once we got it where it is now, like they were super happy with it, and we are like, all right, let's do it as a single. And that song ended up, you know, like blowing up on TikTok, and
Mm-hmm.
we saw all this, you know, like minor success from it, and it was really cool to see because I was like, I don't want to say it was like an "I told you so" moment, but it was like it was so satisfying
Yeah.
to see that. And yeah, I just wanted variety, I guess, and that was ultimately what we did with pretty much all of these singles. It's like because the one that came after that was Alone, which I was pretty scared about because Blameless did well, and I was like, do people only want heavy songs from us, or are they going to be cool with like a ballad type song? But yeah, we basically just we're writing songs that we really like, and if they come out heavy, that's cool. If they come out soft, that's cool. And then we're just kind of trying to put our what we believe are the best songs forward in an order that makes sense.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was basically the process.
Yeah. No, I think it's good to show a variety in what you can do as a band. You know, it's you don't want the same sort of song in like for 12 songs on an album. You want, you know, you want it to be an emotional roller coaster, and you want
Yeah,
it and a roller coaster in the sense of heavy and then soft and now where are we going, and you know, just something unexpected, which is what
yeah.
I got from the album. And I love when bands show their versatility that way. So yeah, I it's one of my favorite albums that has come out so far this year. And then also being able to say that I've also seen you guys live in such an intimate setting, and knowing that you can pull off these songs live because I've physically seen and heard you with my own eyes, that you have so much range in your vocals, like your cleans are absolutely stunning, but then you can get so low and guttural with it, and it's crazy.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It's a lot of fun.
So yeah, I bet it is. I sound like a drowning cat. Do not ask me to sing. So what are your goals for this year, like personally and also as a musician?
I think we want to tour as much as we can.
Yeah.
and get this record to as many people as we can, because that's the dream job, man. Like that's what we've been working for since we were teenagers. We just want to be out on the road playing breakdowns with our friends,
Hmm.
meeting all these people. And it's been really cool because like we're starting to see all these bigger tour offers and stuff come through, which is great. And it's like it's gotten to the point now where we're like all in. Like me and Cody just recently quit like our day jobs and stuff like
Hmm.
that, because like it's time, like
Yeah.
the pieces are coming together and things are picking up quickly. So yeah, we just want to tour as much as we can. We want to meet as many people as we can, and just push this album as much as possible, go to all these new places, because that's what we like to do the most. We just like to be on the road hanging out with people and playing these songs. There's nothing like it.
Yeah. It's congratulations first for taking that step and for being brave enough to
Thank you.
take that step of quitting a full-time job, because it's got to be scary. Even though you are
It is.
seeing the rewards of your hard work, it's still like, wait, this is something that I've relied on for so long, and it's I can't imagine how scary that was. But yeah, congratulations for that. And
Thank
second,
you.
I know you guys were just announced to be supporting Electric Callboy this year.
Yeah,
That is awesome.
it'll be
That is
crazy.
huge.
I can't wait to be like side stage when they just hit that like da 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 da,
Da-da-da-da-da.
and like the
Yeah.
crowd, we're gonna be going nuts. Like I'm so
Yeah.
excited.
That's. I know you guys are excited for that one, because not only do you get to see Electric Callboy do their thing, but then you're also your band is then pushed out to more people who
Yeah,
listen to Electric Callboy and these bigger crowds, and it's gonna be insane.
yeah. Some of the venues on this tour are like 3 to 5 thousand cap venues, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, like it's gonna be nuts. It was funny because at the we were supposed to be on a different tour that hadn't got announced yet, like during this Electric Callboy run or whatever.
Hmm.
And the day after our release show, which was what I guess Thursday the 28th, um, and we were feeling great after that show because the show went amazing. We packed our home venue. There was just so many people, and it was a great show. So like we were already on cloud nine, and then we woke up the next morning from to like text from our management team, and they were like, "All right, we're pulling you off of this tour. You're gonna do this instead." And he sends
Hmm.
us like the Electric Callboy dates, and we're like, "What? Like
It's
no."
like, is this a prank?
Yeah, we just like I don't want to say we didn't believe it, but I'm like, no way. Like,
Yeah.
and then and it's funny because then finally, like, I don't know, maybe a week later, we still weren't even like 100% sure, because we had gotten the offer and all this kind of stuff, and we're like, I don't know if we just were on cloud nine about it. We were like, but this is crazy. There's no way. But then like last week before it got announced, it was like the day or two before, and they sent us like all the ad assets and stuff like that, and be like, all right, you're announcing it, 10 a.m. this day or whatever, and we're like,
Hmm.
shit, I guess it's real. Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy. But yeah,
Yeah.
we're honestly through the moon about that. It's gonna be so much fun.
It is. And like that moment when you get that package in the email and you see your name on that advertisement, and it's like, wait, this is actually real. This is, and then it
Yeah,
settles in, and it's like, this is huge, and it's
yeah,
gonna be so much fun.
yeah. I don't think it really hit until that moment, and then I was like, wow, like this is actually happening.
So, what do you find is the most rewarding part of being in the band, but also what do you find the most challenging?
Oh, that's a good question. I touched on it briefly earlier, but when we play shows, especially like if we play a show somewhere that we've like never been to before, and there's all these people, yelling the words back at me, and then they come to meet me after the set or whatever, and they're like, yeah, like this song did X, Y, and Z for me. Like
Mhm.
that's one of the coolest things in the world to me, and that's definitely one of the more rewarding aspects of it. But as far as like a challenging aspect, I'd say just kind of being away from home
Hmm.
sometimes, and being away from my girlfriend and my cats. I miss my cats so much when I'm on tour.
Yeah.
We all do, because we all have cats.
Yeah,
Uh,
we're cat people too.
yeah, so that one's really hard, and uh, it sounds like weird to say, but being on the road can be really lonely sometimes
Yep.
because not in the sense that like you're isolated from people because you're surrounded by people all the time, but it's like a different kind of like energy. Like you
Hmm.
can't like you there's not really especially if like we all have significant others at home.
Yeah.
And so like when we're on the road, we kind of lack that, sense of intimacy that we normally get from our partners when we're home. So it gets kind of lonely in that sense. And also for me as a singer, it's been getting to the point more and more lately, uh, which is great, that people just want to like talk to me, which is, like I said, is awesome. And that's one of my favorite things to do. But like I can't really do it before we play because I'm just like yelling over loud music. And then by the time we
Yeah.
get on stage, my voice is like shot. So more and more lately I found that like I need to be like hiding before we
Hmm.
play. And then after we play, then I'll talk to people all we want. Um, so like it gets kind of lonely in that regard to where I'm just, like I'm in our green room or I'm in our van by ourselves or whatever. And I'm just like, and vocal rest is something I'm really bad at because I love to talk to people.
Hmm.
And so like not getting able to do that until after we play sometimes is like frustrating to me, but it is what it is. It's just one of those things that you have to do to take care of your voice.
Yeah. And also, well, I mean, you want to give the best you can as well up on that stage, and
Yeah.
but I understand the lonely part of it. There's also nothing like just being at home. I don't feel like you can truly just relax and shut off even on a day off when you're touring, and it's like when you've got visitors visiting your house and then they finally leave and it's like, oh, I can finally just veg and do nothing, and it's
Right.
there's nothing like that. So I totally understand that side of things. And also, of course, I'm from England. My husband was American, and then so I understand that long distance
Yeah.
relationship and
Yeah.
and how that feels. And you guys have to go through that every time you tour, and it's hard, and it is taxing on the relationship because you have to communicate even more than you would if you're literally next to each other, and it's something you have to work on, and it's frustrating. It's emotionally draining as well, and it's
Yeah.
yeah. So I totally get that.
Yeah, and like everything we do on the road, it's like obviously we have so much fun. Like we love doing
Yeah.
it. Um, but we're in work mode 24/7.
Yeah.
Like we're constantly networking, we're constantly doing, things on social media. We don't have like a crew or anything like that. So like we're
Hmm.
doing all our own setups and like all that kind of stuff. And it's a lot of work. It's a lot of fun, but it's a lot of work. I always tell people when they ask about it, they're like, oh, like how do you like touring? And I'm like it's simultaneously the best thing ever and the worst thing ever. Cause like
Right.
you're doing the coolest job in the world, in my opinion, and it's so much fun. But at the same time, it's like you're getting no sleep. Like it's hit or miss whether or not you can take a shower. You're like barely eating. You're doing all this work, sleeping in a van. And like that part of it, it's hard. It's not for everybody.
Yeah.
We've had people in the past like we'll go on a tour and they're like, well, this isn't for me. And I have like the utmost respect for people that say that because it's 100% not for everybody. But it's all those rewarding aspects of it, just to me they make it so much worth it.
Yeah. They outweigh those negative things. Well, not negative, but just the heart there.
Yeah, just the challenging aspects of
Just the
it.
challenging and the loneliness feelings that the sometimes you get emotionally worn out, and but then you get on that stage that evening and it's probably like a revival, and it's like, this is why
Yeah,
I'm here, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing.
100%. When you step out there and like you just feel the crowd and everything, it's like all of that just melts away, and
Yeah.
you're fine for an hour or however long we play, and then we're hanging out with all these people, and it's like a party, and it's
Right.
it's so cool. So yeah, like that, like you said, that that little time right there is just like that's what makes it all worth it. It just all comes together in that moment.
So talking of tour, you only have like 2 days left of your album release tour. How has that been going for you?
It's been really good. We're stoked because we're hitting all these like new markets that we've never been to, and all these
Hmm.
people are, here singing the words. There's been like, these huge lines to meet us after the set and all these places that we've never been. And like, that's so sick. Like, these people actually know us. They care about us. Like, they came to hang out with us. And that's like great. So we're doing super well on this tour. We're having a fantastic time. The songs are going over really well, and we're just stoked to be playing them finally because
Hmm.
we've been excited to play them for a long
Yeah.
time. So like just being able to do that is really cool. And it's just been really fun. Like the first the first week or so of tour, our van was just like a cesspool of disease for some reason. Like
Oh,
Zach
yeah.
was insanely sick, and then he got Brendan, who is somebody that we brought out for like media and merch. He does like all our videos and photo and stuff like that, and he's been crushing it on this tour. But he got like probably the worst of it,
Hmm.
and everybody still has like a residual cough and all that kind of stuff. But somehow I have dodged all of it, and I don't know how because like my immune system is garbage. But yeah, I've been taking a lot of multivitamins, and I've been terrified because that's like my biggest fear is like
Yeah.
just losing my voice because I'm not good at anything else. Like that's what I
Hmm.
need. Um, so, but we're doing a lot better now. This like second, I guess, week of tour. Um, but yeah, we got these two shows left. The ones in Richmond, which we're really stoked about because we typically do very well in Richmond. It's always a good time. And then we're in Baltimore, which is another place that we typically do well in. And so yeah, we're stoked to rip these last two shows and then hang out with our cats somewhere.
Yes, yes. I mean, you may have heard mine. She's been sat outside the door meowing at me. They
Oh,
not they're not usually allowed in here because we have all of these little trinkets and stuff. But
yeah.
she's like she's my baby, and she'll sit out there and she'll just yell at me until I go back out. And it's like I'm
Oh,
trying to, I don't like if I could have her sat here, I would, but she wouldn't. She's not really a lap kitty, so
I feel that my one isn't either. She's my little girl. She's the weirdest cat I've ever met. I don't even know. I don't even know how to describe her.
that's what I love about them, though. They each have their own individual personalities, and I think
Yeah,
non-cat people don't realize that, and they just, I don't know. There's just something about them. Like we have three of them, and they're so different from each other, and that's
yeah,
why I love them. Just something about cats.
yeah. I also have three, and they're all very different from each other. And like you said, I didn't realize I was a cat person until I had a cat, and I was like, wow, this is
Yes.
so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it was the same for me. I always thought I was like a bit of both, like a dog person and a cat person. But
Hmm.
then the one that's been set outside, she's called Mojo. She chose me as a kitten, and ever since then, it's been like, yeah, yep, I'm a crazy cat lady. I will admit that 100%.
Yeah, we all are.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to keep you much longer. I just wanted to know if you had any last words or just of thanks or just anything you wanted to say to people watching this interview.
Yeah, we're so grateful for all of the support that we've received, not only on this tour, but throughout the album cycle. It's been so cool to see the growth over the past year or so.
Hmm.
And our team over at Thriller is amazing. Our management team is amazing, and it's we're so grateful. Like I don't know how else to say it without sounding corny, but we're really appreciate everything that's going on for us. And I appreciate you for having me on this. I love doing these kind of things, honestly, because I don't know, I like to talk, and I just get to talk about things that are exciting to me, I guess.
Hmm.
So thank you. Um, but yeah, just once again, thanks to everybody that supported us through this album cycle, picked up the album, came out to the shows. It means the absolute world to us, and we're stoked to see more of you potentially
Yeah.
this year. It's gonna be a fun year for us. It's gonna be busy, but we're really excited.
Well, hopefully we'll get to see you again sometime soon as well. And thank you as well for your time. I know it's your day off, and I appreciate you coming on and chatting with me today. And of course, I will leave all of the band's links and everything, the order link for the album. If you guys haven't ordered it yet, I'll leave that down in the description. But thank you so much, Patty. It's been an absolute pleasure. I totally appreciate it.
Of course, we'll have to see you and Robin again pretty soon. We'll come down there. We'll come to the Carolinas again.
Yeah, please do, because it was awesome seeing you guys, and it would be nice to see you in a bigger setting as well, just to feel that crowd as well. You know, so fingers crossed.
We'll be back.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to become a Taurian. Speaking of becoming a Taurian, all of my social media links and my Discord link are down in the description. We'd absolutely love to have you come hang out in the Discord community, and I will see you guys in the next video. Rock on.